grew up in the gritty South, a place where nothing seemed to mean much, but it meant everything. In these rural backwoods, there was a family. That's where my heritage began, whose faith and hard work destined them for great triumph and deep tragedy. Matriarch was my mother, Edith Blackburn, who has inspired generations. Her three brothers and sisters shared a deep love. Edith was the oldest. She leaned on faith to help her as she sacrificed to take care of the boys. Through determination and loss, she became the leader of the family, leading the values and carrying the torch for my generation and yours. This story is about strength, faith, determination, and sacrifice. From a place called Burnout. Barely see it on the map. It's galvanized in many hearts.
Music and time together always made the Blackburn Hacker family happy. That, and maybe a trip to the general store to watch the local butcher carve bacon. For Grandpa Blackburn, it was spending time in the vegetable garden that made him happy. After all, it was a farming community, and what you raised on the range, you ate. Times seemed simple out in the land. Trips to the local soda fountain. But there were struggles. My mom, Edith, the oldest of 5 Blackburn kids, often felt more like a mother than a big sister. She was their touchstone, fixing whatever was broken for her brothers, doctoring skinned knees and broken hearts. My mom's mother had been sickly since she was a child. Bad nerves, severe headaches, even depression sometimes kept her down for days. My grandfather worked hard to support the family. He owned a grocery store and a fleet of delivery trucks. Yet he still held down a full-time job as a head mechanic for the Tennessee Valley Authority in North Alabama. He was up and gone to work before his children crawled out of bed in the morning. And when they turned in for the night, he was often still at work or on a run in one of his trucks. With my grandmother often ill and my grandfather off earning for the family, my mom, Edith, they called her Edie, was both sister and mother for her 3 brothers and later baby sister Kim. She had no idea that her role as sister and mother would last a lifetime and become an inspiring struggle.
Edie, I always just admired her. She was always so pretty. I said, I want to be just like Edie one day.
I know, she always was.
Mm-hmm.
Such a pretty cheerleader.
Yes.
Kids in the country knew how to entertain themselves. Probably had more fun than city folks. The Blackburn children had been blessed with fertile imaginations, and they put them to good use. In the hottest part of the summer, they sometimes ended their day on Goat Bluff. On some rocks that overlooked the creek, it was a swimming spot they called Blue Hole. They loved riding horses named Polly, Spotted Cloud, and Trigger. Then tie them off and lay on their backs to watch the clouds. They watched the cloud formations above and got serious, dreaming.
I'll be just like Dale Evans someday.
Okay.
Sure.
Whatever
when
you say.
When you get a mansion, I'll come visit you.
Mother would get the conversation rolling about dreams and wishes. She said she'd become a movie star and a singer.
I'm gonna breed racehorses, own a cattle farm, and build race cars.
I want to write a song that'll make people cry, just like Cousin Elvis.
I'm going to build houses, bridges, dams, and buildings.
Edith! David! Terry! Philip! Come on, supper!
Oh, there's Rip Zip. Boys, I better get going.
I can understand her bond that she had with her brothers, and it just like separates them from the rest of the world, and it separates them from all the wrong stuff that's going on, and brings them into all nothing but right. Everything is perfect when you're on a horse with your friends or your family. Everything is perfect. The whole world is perfect.
David was Edie's oldest brother. His humor was as fast as his need for speed. He made everyone laugh with silly hair and jokes, and he made sure everyone heard when he found humor in almost anything.
David is one, he's always smiling.
Yes.
If you ever, any time you met him, he was always a positive person.
Very.
Wow, growing up with David was so much fun. Camping out in the woods and riding horses and sneaking off in his daddy's car. It was good times.
Philip, the youngest of the brothers, was opposite, the quiet one. He was melancholy, but had big dreams too. He wanted to be a songwriter and play the Grand Ole Opry.
But Philip was a good singer. I don't know, but he could sing pretty well. But he never would get on the stage and sing, but he would sing out openly.
It sounded like it wasn't in tune or something.
I remember Philip as being a sweet, cunning little boy. When he smiled, his whole face always lit up.
You know, I guess he looked up to his big brothers, you know, and he enjoyed life also. But Philip was a challenger. He wanted to be just as tough as his brothers were, and he was.
Terry Blackburn had different dreams. For a country boy, he wanted to be an architect. He was a determined young man with a quick temper. Nonetheless, there was a task to be handled. He was the one to see it through.
Terry had a little temper, you know, he
just
had
a
real
little
good
bit.
temper.
Terry did, he built his house.
Yeah, Terry built his own house up here on
In Littleville.
43 Highway out of Littleville, Alabama.
It was Terry's ride through life that would teach his big sister, Edie, some of life's most valuable lessons about courage and faith.
Terry Blackburn was a year older than me, and he and my brother were very good friends. And then David was probably 2 or 3 years older, and I just remember them being in school. They were always a fun bunch. The Blackburns were always having fun. They could have been a little mischievous, you know, but nothing too severe, but they loved to laugh. They enjoyed life. They were active in sports, Edie in band, and cheerleader especially. But they're very popular in the school.
Buddy Killen told me that Elvis's cousin, Edie Mae, was up at the BMI offices, and would I like to meet her and talk to her, and I jumped at that because I'm Elvis's biggest fan, so I wanted to meet another Elvis cousin. I already knew Gene Smith from Gladys Presley side, so I wanted to meet one of the Presleys on Vernon's side. And so I went and I met Edie Mae, and we became lifelong friends.
Music ran in the bloodlines, an important part of the Blackburn family life passed from generation to the next.
Love me tender.
There were second cousins with Elvis Presley. With musically talented folks on both sides of our family, everyone would get together, especially around the holidays, and sing their own renditions of hymns, gospel songs, country and rock and roll they had heard on the radio. It was a child performing at these happy family gatherings that my mother first experienced the adulation, the attention, and the applause of an audience. Her ability to put smiles on those beloved faces fanned the embers of her childhood dreams. Grandma Alice is the one who gave so much guidance to the family. She oversaw many of these gatherings. She preached to watch the scenery as it passed by and not to take a lot for granted. She taught my mom how to cook, even how to milk cows and birth calves. She liked to put on high teas, bring a bit of England to rural Alabama. Dining on fine china, Mom learned Grandma Alice was just as comfortable foaling a pony in the back pasture as she was teaching a little girl the proper way to sit at a formal table. And teaching all the kids good manners, Grandma Alice always had strong, wise advice. Alice reassured Mom she had talent, because she had the ability to inspire others.
As Edie and I got to know each other, she was speaking for different groups, and she came here and spoke to our cancer survivors group. She also spoke at our church. So we had a chance to talk during those times, and we learned how each one of us relies upon God for our strength and faith that He would give us the strength to accomplish what we needed to accomplish. And Edie, a hand for one person, knows what her purpose is, and she goes about getting it done.
And when we were in college, when I first met her, we had a class together, and I thought, who in the Sam Hill is this female? She, when Edie comes into a room, she takes the room. She doesn't mean to do that. She just does it. It's just Edie. It's that hard. It's that love of people. It's that love of life. It's that love of the moment. She just finds joy and laughter everywhere. And the thing I remember about Edie is that laugh. Oh gosh, we did an old Kaufman and Hart classic called The Man Who Came to Dinner, and of course Edie played this Hollywood star, perfect for it. And we did a period piece called The Lion in Winter that Peter O'Toole and Katharine Hepburn made very famous on screen. Rehearsal was never hard. With Edie, it was fun. It was fun.
She had a small advertising agency at the time, and she was a go-getter, I'm telling you, she really was. I was new into the advertising industry at that time, and she really taught me a lot.
The Blackburns had a holiday tradition. The Christmas ride took place the day after Thanksgiving, when all the kids would saddle the horses in the barn and ride until they found the perfect family Christmas tree. Memories were made year after they had hauled the tree home and celebrated with hot chocolate and Christmas tree-shaped cookies. The memories that would become bittersweet. My Uncle David, the one whose humor matched his need for speed, was only 19. A college freshman on the way home when he fell asleep behind the wheel of his car. He veered into a tree not a mile from Grandma and Grandpa Blackburn's place. Killed almost instantly. Aunt Linda Blackburn, a nurse at Red Bay Hospital, came upon the accident. She tried to save him, but it was too late.
And David, we miss you now. Our hearts are sore. As time goes by, we miss you more. Your loving smile, your gentle face, no one can ever fill your vacant place. It's the first most traumatic thing I ever experienced, because I loved him like my brother, my child. I would wash his clothes in the evening. I would fix his breakfast in the morning. And we lived in a little house near campus at UNA. And I loved being there for him. And the night he took his ride, I didn't go because I was tired. I'd worked in 3 jobs. And I said, I'll go see the play another night, because it was his fiance's, Joanne's play, and he was tired. He'd left me a long list of what to do for him. And I said, please be careful. But he didn't come home.
She found some peace in Grandma Alice's advice. There are rough spots in life, but stay focused on your destination.
When her brother died, when David died, the laughter went away for a good while. Edie has an understanding that we're here for a purpose. And what I have seen Edie do, you know, when we were in college, Edie, she wanted to be an actress. That really didn't happen for Edie because she had to take a different road. You know, her book, The Last Ride, she had to get on a different horse. That wasn't the horse she'd planned on riding. But the horse that she got on She rode that horse to a great destination.
Seemed like luck wasn't on the side of the Blackburn family. At 26 years old, my mother discovered she had a rare kidney disease and cancer. After extensive surgery, she had a long 4-year recovery. Strong, she came through fine and kept plugging for the family. She and my father, Lincoln, said they were blessed when I came along. I was born Lincoln Addison Hand. They call me Link. My mother, Edie, became a successful working mom, writing, speaking, television, led her to contacts and friendships with entertainers across the country. A big change from country life back in Burnout, Alabama.
Edie has lived a very interesting life with many challenges on a personal level, including tragedies with her brothers and interesting things like growing up with Elvis and at Graceland, and she experienced so much very different than my own life, and I found it very interesting. And when Edie was writing one of her books about Elvis, about the recipes of Graceland, she contacted me and asked if I would sponsor one of the pages or have my name mentioned on it, and I said, of course, happy to help. And when I got the book, I saw that it was for a ham recipe, and I'm Jewish, and we don't eat ham, and I guess I'm glad my mother wasn't around anymore to see that, because she would have had a heart attack.
She was going for her dream, always throughout her entire life. You know, she always had goals that she wanted to meet, which she did.
On a career high came another low, another cancer diagnosis for Mother, and with it, the realization she could have no more children.
I've never known a person that got through this life without having to go through some tragedy. Edie has certainly had her share. Cancer 4 times, goodness gracious.
She told me I was her touchstone to a new generation. She inspired me every step of the way. Meantime, all those bright memories, big dreams changed into nightmares again. My Uncle Philip survived a car crash, turned to Jesus to change his life, but only months later was killed in another wreck. Once again, my mom was reminded that life's journey is often shorter than we expect. Losing David and Philip so unexpectedly gave my mother the final push she needed to find her way forward.
And for Philip, remember me as life goes by. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, you shall be. Prepare yourself and follow me. From Philip, being younger, and he was the youngest, he was always uncertain of what he wanted to do. He could never find himself. But most importantly, he found the Lord. A night on an old country road. As my grandmother would say, she prayed it up. That he would walk in the rain to get help. It sobered him up. Walked into a country church, and it was my grandmother's church. And they did not shun my brother. They did not judge him. They embraced him and told him Jesus loved him. And he came to know the Lord. And 6 months later, he went to be with the Lord. I was married then and had a young son named Lincoln. I remember the call at midnight. My mother and dad said they couldn't go and identify him, so I dressed. One of the hardest things I ever did. But I learned a lot about the tuggings on my heart, and that lesson of love was if something's tugging at your heart or important to you, one must seize a moment, because the moment may never come again.
Someone told me a long time ago
that the best way to heal a broken heart or face grave disappointment is to help others. And Edie didn't coin that phrase, but she should have. Because to me, that's what Edie Hand stands for, and her foundation stands for. The disappointments and the grief that she's faced, she's turned it around to be something positive and to help others.
Her life had been shaped by helping others, practically raising the Blackbird boys. Without knowing it, Mother had been groomed to help others, to reach out, to support. Just like the horses she rode as a girl, she was ready to run.
Edie Hand was created through adversity, being pressed and pushed. A pearl comes about through irritation, hardship, but you know what? Through it all, she shines through like the light that she is.
Edie has had the idea of the Genuine Pearl Girls for a very long time. And when she started speaking about pearls of hope, her strand of pearls and what each color pearl means, she then saw the potential to make this a real thing for real women. It's to inspire women to help women. And it's such an easy concept.
Mother leaned on her talent, her writing ability, her professional relationships to launch the Edie Hand Foundation. She focused on organizations which supported children battling cancer and juvenile diabetes and orphan girls from a village in Indonesia.
Edie Hand has made such a difference with her foundation and for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, founded by my late father, Danny Thomas, and internationally, actually, because the long arm of St. Jude and everything that she does with her foundation, reaches all the children, and that's what she's about.
We got together and we worked on different projects, but my favorite thing that we ever did was go to St. Jude's. When Edie Mae took me to St. Jude's, I never will forget it.
We came up with the idea for a book about Edie and her experience with her brother that would also, in some ways, tell my own personal experience with my brother, losing him early. We knew other people had these same sorts of bumps in the road in their lives. That metaphor jumped right out at us. Life is a ride, and life has some very bumpy patches along the way. And sometimes you can't get past those just by yourself. You need faith, friends, and family to get that accomplished.
Someone gave this last Christmas ride to me for Christmas. I think probably by the end of the 26th or maybe the 27th of December, I just called her and said, I have an idea here. We talked, and I had an editor. I wrote a script, and I directed and produced it at my high school with my high school theater department.
She had more personal fights too. A breast cancer diagnosis, which she survived with good treatment, and the belief that survival is due to her faith, her family, and the feeling that her work is not finished. While our ride through life has its rough places, we can do much good along the way if we live by faith and rely on our families. It's a message my mother has carried for thousands of people through her books, her television programs, being a mother, and leading the Edie Hand Foundation. Literally carrying a powerful message to a new generation, inspiring hope, family, and faith.
What she has been through is something very, very few people have been through. And one of the things I really believe is when you go through the fire, you're either refined or you're burned. And Edie, as a person, has been refined more than anyone that I know. And her faith is so alive and it's infectious. You're just around Edie Hand and you start to believe that things are possible again. It's so easy to lose hope, lose faith, and become a pessimist. And then Edie Hand comes along and her hope is contagious.
I remember Edie and the boys, David, Terry, and Philip. And I guess that Edie was more like a mother. All the three brothers were great workers and done good jobs. That's what I remember about the three boys, and that I miss them over these years. Still miss them today.
She realized that when her third brother, my Uncle Terry, had a brain aneurysm, then later was diagnosed with a brain tumor. He was a mere shell of his former self. She, my Aunt Kim, and me, when I was little, rallied in every way we could. We even took Uncle Terry on one last horse ride. Mother cared for him in a lengthy battle for life, which ended with the worst. But again, she was there, fighting for the Blackburn boys.
For Terry, I wrote, faith points to hope. Above the skies where virtuous friendships never dies. Here I lay my burden down, change the cross into the crown. His toils are past, his work is done. He fought the fight, the victory won. From Terry, I think I had a different love relationship with my brother, because I shared his dying with my mother and my sister and my dad. And the few people that gave of their time to help us, you didn't have all the caregivers you had today. But 7 years was long suffering. He loved to ride horses. He loved to train dogs. He loved life so much and didn't want to go. That's hard. He made me promise that I would tell their story of love and kindness to one another, because it's priceless. He gave me this horseshoe and he said, "You have the purest heart, like Psalms 51:10. I want you to take my ring and wear it upside down on Mama's cross she gave you. And remember, my luck ran out. And always never stop riding horses." He said, "I always like to let the horses run. There's a freedom about it." Terry, you worked so hard. I guess I learned the most of love, of courage. It's given me courage to fight my own demons, and we all got them. To fight my own battles in life, but more importantly, at this time, these boys have served me well to teach me those things, but most importantly, to be a better mother, to be a better friend, to be a better person, to take my life and do something with it of meaning. I've tried to do that, a promise that I kept. And now in this season time of my life and at the ending of my season, what's most important is love. Not how much money you made, how much you gather up, but how I've learned to serve my Lord, how I find my place of silence and I grow from His guidance. I have first time in my life found peace. I really have. It is a place that everyone needs to find in their own lives, is peace. For that I'm grateful. In my loss, I am grateful.
There'd be no sadness to cry. There'd be no selfish to lie. There'd be no reason for crying. There'd be no empty why. I see it when I close my eyes. Peace on earth and peace of mind. Let it go. We have to restore this planet's soul. Teach it something more than what we know. Give it water, give it sun, room to grow. We can build a better tomorrow. There be no nightmares, only dreams. There be no evil people with angel wings. There be no war zones, just simple things. There be more love than diamond rings. I see it when I close my eyes. Peace on earth and peace of mind. Let it go. We have to restore this planet's soul. Teach it something more than what we know. Give it water, give it sun, room to grow. I can see a better tomorrow. I can see a better tomorrow. We share this place, we all belong. Light the way till dark is gone. Walking away still means you're strong. Rise above, hope isn't gone. Let it go. We have to restore this planet's soul.